My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hello guys, nice to see you. In a moment I will have the score up on the screen as well, so don't worry about that. Anyway, we are meeting here obviously to talk about Justin Engel playing Felix Auger Aliassime in the quarterfinals in Stuttgart. It's a pretty big story, not necessarily because of Felix, although I understand, well, I don't actually understand why John was in the chat. That's not what I was going for. No, that's also not what I was trying to do. Anyway, in a moment I'll have it. Okay, yeah, this is fine for now, but in a moment I'll have the score. Anyway, I don't know why John was in the chat at 5 a.m. this morning, saying that Felix was going to win. What was it? Was going to win Wimbledon. Yeah, probably not. But of course, I actually didn't realize before this tournament that he was on a six-match losing streak on grass, not counting the exhibitions, of course, in like Boodles and etc. Well, since 2022, he hadn't won a match on grass, so that was kind of wild. But well, he's gotten over this hump now. He's probably the favorite today, although the player that everybody will be like kind of more interested to check out will be Justin Engel, the 17-year-old from Germany. Last year, he became the first player born in 2007 to win an ATP Tour match. Now he's breaking even more age records in terms of like players who made tour level quarterfinals on grass younger than him. The last one was Boris Becker in 1985, and that was when Boris won Wimbledon. Well, earlier he also had one in Queen's Club that month, or like the month earlier. And also, if Engel was going to win today, which actually he's 30 of up now, as I'm talking about it, he would be the fifth youngest semi-finalist this century on the ATP Tour. And that list would include above him Rafa twice, Gasquet, and Alexander Zverev, of course, in Hamburg in 2014. So there's a lot of kind of like fun tidbits like that regarding Engel here. Also, he was like the second youngest player on the ATP Tour to get wins on all three surfaces, I think, after Rafa. So yeah, I mean, there's just obviously a great number of things here that he's doing as the first player from his age group. And if he is to beat Felix Auger-Aliassime, that would be the biggest win of his career ranking-wise. Obviously, the biggest one so far was first round here against, well, sorry, actually second round here against Alex Mikkelsen, number 35 in the world. And against Alex Mikkelsen, he didn't even drop a single point on first serve, which actually he's already done this match, as Felix wins a couple of nice points, first after a lob and now passing Engel. The approach from the German was definitely quite forced. Well, losing serve here would not be the best start. In terms of his game, I mean, Engel on grass, I think he gets so much control over his ground strokes on the surface that doesn't really guarantee it, That's a really nice low bouncing forehand, and he's going to miss the next one. And that was a bit of a sitter, half open court. Breakpoint coming for him here. If you've only been watching ATP Tour Engel, you would think that he's like the GOAT. If you're also watching Challenger Tour and ITF Tour Engel, you know that he had some bumps along the road. But yeah, whenever he comes up against these great players, he is really standing up to them. Let's see. Breakpoint here. Felix is going to miss a neutral forehand. So we are deuce. Yeah, ground game's excellent. The backhand, I think it kind of deserves a comparison to Zverev in many ways. He's kind of like a more aggressive Zverev, I guess, of the baseline. The serve is really good too. And yeah, he's been kind of trying to find his ideal way of playing, I would say, over the last year or so. Last summer, when he was emerging, he won 4 ITF titles, all 15Ks, but one of them was against Jerome Kim, so in the final, in Villach, I think. So definitely a quality win right there. And when he was emerging on the Challenger Tour, he was kind of just impressing with his rally tolerance, with how good he was, how consistent he was of both wings, the clean, good ground strokes. And after that, he started playing kind of like even wilder attacking tennis. And then for a while, that was not really leading him to much. Maybe he's trying to find the the middle ground right now. Maybe he's finding it this week. He gets the first game with some good serving. Philipp Kohlschreiber, by the way, in the stands. He's been working with Engel for a while now. And obviously, it's very fun to see the German legend in that role, staying in the sport. Yeah, I mean, I do think Engel definitely has a shot here. Felix on grass, he's had achievements, including 2 finals in Stuttgart, 2019 and 2021. In fact, these are his only Stuttgart appearances. Once he lost to Berrettini, once to Cilic, and one of these tournaments, by the way, was his very first professional appearance on grass, which would kind of, get a comparison to Engel here, who I don't think had ever played one. I mean, definitely not a challenger, definitely not an ITF. Stuttgart last year didn't have a wild card. Did he have a wild card last year for like Halle qualifying? I don't think he had. So I think this also might be his first tournament on grass. Would be an interesting way to compare to Felix if he made the final. I will check that though. I don't want to mislead you guys, but I was assuming that it is his first professional tournament on grass as well. So that's kind of funny that both of them could do that, reach their Stuttgart final in their first pro event on grass. Well, we'll see. Of course, Engel still needs 2 more wins. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes. I turned on the flashlight, I guess, in my phone accidentally. Yeah. How do I stop it now? Okay, I think I have. Hi, Jake, by the way. This is orange, Nurlan, you're blind. The game has started, but I see the scoreboard might not be refreshing. I will actually make it bigger even on the screen. This should be nicer, and I hope it will be refreshing, since I don't think it was. Don't worry, producer, I'm fine so far in terms of the production, I suppose. Nurlan is shirtless. Holy hell. You would not want to see that. What has happened to Durasovic in recent months? I mean, it's Durasovic. If you followed his career, like you wouldn't be expecting him to play like that for 4 or 5 months, at a time. He's just a really inconsistent player. I mean, the peak has always been there. Some absolutely obscene performances, like against Mahac in Vilnius a few years back. I watched that one from the stands, and that was, to me, like definitely a top 3 Durasovic match of his career. Definitely more that you could cook up. But he's never really produced it consistently. So I don't think I'm surprised. Plus, if you look back at his recent months, I mean, he's losing a lot of matches that are close, right? He's just losing a ton of match points up and stuff like that. And then, well, that's also a bit of a theme. So, yeah, I mean, he had a really good, strong moment for 2-3 months. Probably will have more. Would be amazing if he can get to Grand Slam qualifying at some point. I think that would be great. By the way, Justin Engel, speaking of Grand Slam qualifying, if he wins today, he breaks the top 200. With a win, like just with this quarterfinal run, there's a high chance of him making US Open qualies. So if he wins today, he's I think he's definitely going to. So that would be obviously awesome for the 17-year-old. His birthday is, I believe, on the 1st of October, so he's still got a few months as a 17-year-old. Amazing, absolutely amazing things that the German youngsters, aged 16 to 18 are doing right now. Schoenhaus and obviously McDonald, they were in the final of Roland Garros. Boys juniors, boys singles just now. Engel, the first 2007 born player to win a match on the ATP Tour. Diego de Dura, the first 2008 born player. There's another strong junior in Jamie McKenzie. I mean, we'll see how these guys get to how they transition to the pro level. Obviously, it's not a given. A few years back, we remember Germany had, I don't know, like Rudolf Molleker, Nicola Kuhn, and these guys never really made it. For this reason or another, Molleker probably more like mental side of the game. Kuhn, I would say, strictly injuries, and yeah, it's never a given, right? We cannot treat this as a certainty that because they have such strong guys right now, they will definitely make it. I think especially for someone like, I don't know, like the Dura, his game is a shell of what it would need to be to like be, on the main tour and getting consistent wins, but that doesn't mean he won't get there. I mean, he just has to do a lot of development. With Engel, it's a bit easier because he seems just pro ready right now. I mean, well, maybe that's even just a stupid thing to say considering the guy is ranked 281. He simply is pro ready. He's been playing pro events for a while now, not focusing on the juniors anymore, and rightfully so. That's the first sighting, I think, on the stream of Philipp Kohlschreiber. When I was talking about him earlier, I was just mentioning him because I saw him in previous days. Kohlschreiber as well made some big runs here. This event switched to grass in 2015. I believe Kohli has a final both on clay and on grass. So definitely a bit of a legend of this event as well. Such a consistent force on the tour for years, top 50 for like a decade without ever falling out. Obviously never, somebody who would like destroy the tour and, I don't know, be close to the top 10, pick up massive wins. Not really. But this is, just the kind of player that the tour is made of. 2-1 for Engel. Some good serving. There was one short ball miss on the forehand. But, does not matter in the end. It's definitely closer already than his encounter with Mikkelsen. That's one thing. There was also the first round match with James Duckworth, where Engel was down 2-4, played an excellent game to break back, even if James actually double faulted low 40. But the first 3 points were phenomenal. And then also in the breaker, I mean, so confident, hits that backhand down the line like it's not a pressure moment. So absolutely deserved that win. And then Alex Mikkelsen was no match for him. So Mikkelsen kind of continues his weird path over the last few months where, he won a Storil, but other than that, it's just horrific performances left and right. Have I ever played on grass? Artificial, yes. Natural, no. There are, as far as I know, 2 venues in Poland that offer grass court tennis. And one is actually very close to my hometown, like 80 kilometers maybe. So definitely I'd like to go there somewhere. But, we'll see. The tweet you copied from Mario is obviously just copied from media notes as usual. But anyway, 2022 was the last grass court win for Felix. Last year he lost at Wimbledon to Kokinakis, also lost to Mo. So beating Pechi Pericard was obviously how he broke that streak. Video evidence. What were you doing at a school sports day? Should we be afraid for the kids? I mean, I have a restraining order from every single like playground and stuff, but I didn't know you had too. Anyway, low ball to the Felix forehand. He just makes a pretty wild error of that. Grass, I think, oh guys, over the last few weeks, watching it again, I don't know about you, but for me, it's been a pleasure. I know some will be complaining, especially those who just prefer the physical long rallies of clay. I mean, I like all of this, but just seeing the players, have to maneuver in order to get to these lower contact points, get to the net, hit the attacking slices, approach after a slice. It's beautiful. There's a beauty in it. I definitely think that tennis should stick to its free surface calendar, because that's kind of what just separates us from any other sport. I can't really name another sport that has different surfaces where like playing conditions vary so wildly. Obviously there's weather involved. Obviously not every single pitch, not every single running track will like feel exactly the same and will give you the same results. Yeah, I understand that, but I still don't really think there's something like that in anywhere. And it's fantastic. I think it's great that it's giving different players the ability to stand out. Of course, we also live in the era of like surface homogenization, as people call it, and it's not quite like in the 90s. The contrast isn't that extreme, but still, watching events over the last few weeks, I think you guys can all agree that grass is still grass. And when you watch somebody who is like not that not even athletic, but like not that agile, like especially these giants, Pechi Perikar, Jari, seeing them try to bend the knees so low and kind of like handle that very low contact point below the waist. Yeah, you can see they're uncomfortable. It still takes something different. Or movement. I don't know. Like I know Blocks qualified in Hertogenbosch, and he even almost beat Bergs in the opening round, but he was just not moving well on the surface at all. Like he was slipping all the time. And on the other hand, when he played Bergs or Manarino, right, they're just experts. Like they're just gonna play rallies on grass that make you think, oh wow, it's so easy to move on this court, which I don't think it is. But as I said, I've never played. Well, turns out that first ball from Felix was not going to be representative of how the rest of the game was going to go. It just goes straight to him after a few big serves that Engel could not respond to. Got no idea how much experience Engel had on grass before this week, because as I said, his first professional tournament, so not much to say there. Although, well, in Germany, obviously, there are a lot of carpet courts, and sometimes people kind of connect these two as, good preparation, simply because it's low bouncing, it's slick. Engel won a 25K on carpet this year. Was it Kadolsburg, Nussloch? I don't remember. Kadolsburg, maybe, but I'm not sure. I'd have to double check. But yeah, he definitely has a lot of carpet experience, so maybe that's also helping out a little bit. Anyway, that's a massive forehand from him, and that's another one, and I think both of them just like catch the line. Obviously, there's no reason to argue here for Felix because we have ELC in Stuttgart. The first one maybe was like before the line, but the second one must have been just the very back of it. And these two massive forehands are enough for Engel to claim the point. Very important, as he would have been low 30 otherwise. Of course, the previous wins he had on the ATP Tour, last year he had a wildcard in Almaty, the ATP 250 in Kazakhstan. He defeated Coleman Wong, which was a good draw, lost to Francisco Cerundolo. And then Hamburg last month, he had a wildcard as well, beating, good question. Oh, Jan-Lennart Struff, yes, and then losing to Andrei Rublev. Here already wins over Duckworth, Mikkelsen, and now he's taking on Auger Aliassime. He would have loved that serve to be in 15-30, but it's going to be a second. Let's see what Felix can do on return. Probably won't like attack it too much. Yeah, he kind of just gives it to Engel, but is there much that the German youngster will be able to do? Not really. That forehand crosscourt was not placed too well, just kind of like centric to the Auger Aliassime strike zone on the forehand, and Felix, to his credit, very quick to step in, take it down the line. And 2 breakpoints coming here for the Canadian. Again, a serve that just barely misses its mark. In another reality, maybe Engel hits 2 aces here, but definitely not. And off the ground, he's not really winning right now. But let's see. Okay, gets the first point. The slice from Felix was a little short. Engel swoops in with the inside-out forehand and gets the Canadian off balance. Speaking of Canadians, another one doing very well this week, of course, is Gabriel Diallo in Hertogenbosch, who saved 2 match points against Jordan Thompson, a 2-time finalist of this event. Anyway, 1 more breakpoint for the other Canadian player, 30-40. Best not to mention what Denis Shapovalov did in Stuttgart this week, if we're talking about good results from Canadians. Anyway, backhand to backhand exchange. That should be good for Engel, and it is. What a beautiful redirection of the backhand down the line. Yeah, I mean, typically backhand to backhand rallies should suit Engel here, but you also have to take advantage somehow, and well, that's the trademark. Big roar from him as well. I'm assuming the crowd must have gotten quite loud too, but obviously I'm watching on mute. Aye, and not this. I mean, this time Auger Aliassime actually attacks the second serve return, and yeah, it's a winner. Engel was going at the body, but Felix was ready. Got to the ball before Engel was even on the ground, and now we have a third breakpoint this game. But this time the big first serve comes in clutch. Finds the line. There's not much that Felix can do there. Yeah, so far only really that one breakpoint. Well, I guess he was in the rally on 2 of them. Maybe the slice could have been better on the first one. Second, yeah, if they're going to be like passively trading backhands cross court, then Engel should be able to prevail most of the time. Be it with an error or yeah, with a big shot like he did there, but still good to hit it, breakpoint down. At deuce, though, Engel is struggling to find his first serve again. There was a let cord as well on the second. Goes pretty big. And wrong foots Felix nicely. That is obviously a deadly tactic on grass. Most players have issues changing directions. That's also when you tend to slip the most. And yeah, Engel is able to put this one away. Kohlschreiber showing him to like calm down or something like that. I'm assuming that's what the gesture meant. Let's see if he can close this out. Obviously, this would be a big hold for the German youngster. But not quite there yet. Only takes, middle of the court, neutral return from Felix for Engel to mishit a backhand here. Felix, of course, is also in a bit of a weird spot. I mean, first 2 months of the year, he picked up like 16 wins, was it? and then the next few he's not doing anything. So he's just hoping for a good restart on grass, because the end of the hardcourt season, so Indian Wells, Miami, and also clay courts, that did not go well. Besides Hamburg, I guess, which was acceptable. But longer exchange here. Felix slicing again. Tries to rip a backhand inside out, I guess you can even call it. Anyway, from the middle of the court, he chose to hit a backhand rather than a forehand, somewhat unusually for him. And it did not pan out. It was an unforced error. So another chance for Engel to close this game out and just, get into the change of ends with a bit of a confidence boost. Which I guess he's... No, okay. He's not quite done yet. Never mind. Having to defend a little bit here, but this shot is going to be long. Yeah, difficult long game, that's for sure. With every single deuce, it's growing in importance. Colli was pretty good on grass, Wimbledon quarterfinalist. I always mix up the year, but I think it's 2012, right? 2009 was Karlovic's only, and 2012 was Colli's, I think. Yeah, I think so. Does Alcaraz have the best return of serve on grass? Interesting. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever say that Alcaraz has the best return of serve. Like, is his return of serve on grass better than Sinner's? No, I don't think so. Djokovic? No, I don't think so. So yeah, I mean, at least these two. Like, he's probably in the mix, but he's got issues with his returning, especially second serve tactics and kind of finding the right balance between attacking it and just starting the point. Obviously, he'll have some insane return days, Alcaraz, but I don't think it's his main quality. That's a good one from Felix, though. The reaction was quick, hits it deep. Engel was trying to serve and half volley with his forehand down the line, and another breakpoint coming for the Canadian. How big is this game? We'll know soon. But for now, let's just assume it's pretty big, and it's pretty much the same point as last time. Engel just hitting a body serve. Felix reacts quickly, gets a forehand pretty deep at his feet. Engel trying to have volley his forehand. So, yeah, two purely, almost identical points to get this done. It's the first break of the match, coming for the 4th seed, is it? I think it's the 4th. No, 4th? No, that's 2. Oh, yeah, 4th seed. Yeah, okay, never mind. There's a big gap then between, I think, Zverev, Fritz, Shelton, and then Felix is the 4th seed, right? So yeah, there's a large gap there. What are my predictions for today's blockbuster matchup between two superstars, Emma Raducanu and Kim Van Schenk? Yeah, I mean, the last time I was watching Kinver on grass, she could not move at all. So I guess I'd go Emma. But to be honest with you, I didn't even know that this match was going on. Like, I've paid absolutely zero attention to the women's events this week. I mean, I'm obviously aware of what's happening in the challengers. I'm aware of, but I'm not aware of anything in Queens and Hertogenbosch. Let me see. Oh, Kudermetova, Alexandrova. That's a bit of a grass court classic, just like Jean mentioned, Medi and Manarino yearly grass court match. I feel like Kudermetova, Alexandrova, that's also a grass court classic. UA won in the quarterfinals in Hertogenbosch. That's kind of surprising to me as well. Just with her movement, typically I wouldn't say she's that good on grass, but maybe she's learning. And yeah, I guess Queens has a stronger lineup. Oh, indeed, yeah. Rybakina, Keys, Anisimova, Raducanu. These could all be like Wimbledon dark horses. I doubt Rybakina is losing to 8-year-old Tatiana Maria, but I guess the slice is a little tricky for someone who's tall, maybe. Schneider, that's amazing, of course. Navarro, she survived that match, yeah, recently. What was it? Haddad Maya? No. Yeah, she was like barely winning points, right? And then she survived, so guess Anisimova's the favorite. Yeah, I'd probably lean Emma, but I haven't watched any ball from that tournament this week, so I'm just basing this on prior experience watching them on grass, which is all 2024 and before. So, of course, my opinion here is based on limited info. And the odds are actually favoring Emma as well. Okay, that's interesting. Who did Kinven beat? McCartney Kessler. Okay, in her first grass court match of the year. And she won 7-5 in the third. Doesn't exactly strike me with confidence then. Yeah, I'd lean Emma too. But as I said, just based on the past, basically. So probably not worth talking about. And in terms of me being pumped for Eala Marino, I think you know the answer. So I also did not know that Eala was in the tournament or Marino was in the tournament. Obviously, Ilkley I've been following, but the men's side of things, not necessarily the women's 100K, is it? Or did they bump it to 25? I guess they bumped it to 25, yeah, if I remember correctly. Anyway, 30 goal here, kind of out of nowhere, I'd say. Engel just hits a decent ball at the Felix backhand, and I'm not really sure what the Canadian was trying to do there. So he has to stay cautious if he is to just get this hold and, yeah, get ahead. Significantly ahead of the 17-year-old. Good precision on this first ball forehand. Oh my goodness. Good precision on this first ball forehand, and this is the Engel slips while squash shotting it back. Felix has a completely open court, but of course he probably sees with the corner of his eye that Engel is on the floor, and he hits the shot into the tape with the ball actually going out. So it's a break point for Engel, despite him being on the floor while Felix was hitting the last shot. That's always a bit brutal. And let's see if the German can take it. Ace, okay. So, well, did not really get a chance. The angle on that serve was also pretty insane. I mean, by the way it bounced, I was thinking, can you really hit a serve like that into the box and, be land inside it? But apparently you can. Serve and volley from Felix, pretty deep. But Engel actually will lob him here. He's in the point, hits a forehand inside in, and it's going to be enough. That was a great lob. Okay, the volley probably could have been short there, maybe played with a bit more width from Felix, but still was fast, was deep. Yeah, that's a phenomenal lob. And then he also wasn't afraid of playing that inside in forehand with quite a bit of whip. You can see on the replay how high his arm goes above his head after he hits it. And it's another break point. It's a very deep return. This is the chance for Engel to break back. And he does force a forehand slice error from Felix. So he's right back there. Obviously, an important point was when he was on the floor and Felix still missed the shot. But nonetheless, after that, he does some great work to get the break back. That is definitely a good info for us in terms of this match having a future, let's say. Is it true that you have access to Nick Carter's match notes that he makes? Then you steal them and post them on X as your own. Yeah, me and Nick Carter are the same person, and we just split time between watching the ATP and WTA tours. So if you ever see something on Nick Carter's account that looks like my tweet or otherwise, we probably just made an error calculating. In terms of my assessment of Engel, I don't know if you were there from the very start, Nick, but my assessment is very positive. I think of the whole German 2007, 8, 9 generation coming up. He's definitely the one who seems like he just has a pro-ready game right away, does not need to fix much, and looks like the one that should be the most like applicable to the tour. Junior success, especially, well, actually on both sides of the sport, doesn't necessarily mean big results, but the guy was not really like that good at juniors. Even he simply started playing ITF events and winning them even last year when he was just 16. I think he had 4 ITF titles already, and he's been on that path since, with a few bumps. But if you're only watching him on the ATP tour, you're really getting him in his best possible version. Should have taken a set against Rublev in Hamburg recently, and now he's fighting back against Felix. I have to admit, when he lost that break at 2-all, I was just thinking, that might be the set gone. Let's see if he has anything more in the second, but, well, quickly proves that opinion wrong, and he is also 40-15 here. So could go up 4-3. He's up in this rally. Inside out. Probably gonna be long. Yeah. Obviously, after what happened in the previous game, 2 games ago, such a long one, and Engel loses it eventually. It would be awesome for him to avoid a deuce here and just, give Felix something to think about, I suppose. Again, that serve down the tee, so close to making it, but he's not finding these like very precise first serves here. Has Felix on the move, but is not quite that clean with this backhand and kind of gives him a way back into the rally. But eventually he'll force an error anyway. So 4-3 Engel. Again, pumped up to get this one. And let's see how Felix reacts, as kind of for the first time he will be under pressure.
Hey, Damien.
Hello.
I didn't plug my mic in, but I'm not here for long.
Oh, okay.
We had a tech issue yesterday, which was particularly strange, where StreamYard wasn't working. And I was like, oh, no, not StreamYard as well. But it turned out to be a global thing where people were like, can't access StreamYard, but not just StreamYard. There was a few other platforms as well. And I was just imagining, oh, no, if this happens on like Wimbledon final, it wasn't too inconvenient. I was going to interview Steve Flink about greatest matches of all time, and we just postponed it to next week. But yeah, it didn't disrupt us too much, but it could have been a lot worse. It was during the French Open that would have been particularly annoying.
Yeah, for sure. If it was something like pre-recorded with Steve, no, maybe not now.
I did consider Zoom.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but now without the premium, it's like 40 minutes only. Yeah.
Oh, right. Is it? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I did look at Zoom very quickly, and there was something about pay. Anyway, but I just thought it's okay. We can just reschedule. Anyway, my
yeah, that's true, because you have all this setup here and everything.
Oh, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. That's fair. Nurlan, what the hell? I think if Emma Raducanu wins a title this season, that will already be a good achievement.
My Sky Sports is stuck on kids version, so I'm playing around with it. I don't need it right now, but again, that would be annoying. Oh, it's the first time I logged in. I went straight to Discovery Plus, having done that for the last 3 weeks. Yeah, I think Nerland is on fire today.
Yeah. For Jake, apparently, right now, it's okay already for beer, but 30 minutes ago, it wasn't. Interesting how that goes.
We have 3 streams.
Rybakina and Anisimova getting some shout-outs in the chat. Actually, a friend of mine texted me yesterday that Anisimova will win Wimbledon.
I mean, look, I need Anisimova in terms of my top 10. I need her just to probably, where is she right now in the rankings? Somewhere between 10 and 20, right?
Doesn't matter the rankings in the race. She's like 11 for 12. But the problem is that like it's Doha mostly. So to be top 10 at the end of the year, she'd like really need to, get another result like that.
Yeah. So just one more and then top 10. My main thing is we're back in at 3 and obviously Mukova, who just can't seem to stay fit.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna work out.
I mean, who saw that coming, that Mukova couldn't stay fit?
Yeah. Rybakina is what I said in response to the guy, that I'm going with Rybakina. Obviously, it's absolutely stupid to make predictions without even the draw or, without the warm-up tournaments first, but why not? I mean,
she's only a couple of points away from maybe making the semis at there's no guarantees against Vitellino, I know, but she's not far off a really good French Open. And that level, probably she gets to like the semis at Wimbledon.
Yeah. Last year, she obviously did get to the semis.
I know, but then that was underwhelming.
Shoot.
Right, I'm going to leave. We've got,
you might hear some...
Oh, okay, I can stay.
No, that's fine. It is not fine, but actually, maybe I will mute myself for like 30 seconds. And
I'm here.
That's all.
Yeah, do that. So, yeah, I'm going to be leaving shortly because, of course, we have... I wonder why we've gone for Alex Ayala, Rebecca Marino. Such a random match to choose. I know many of you are thinking, and that's what we are. That's how we are talking tennis. We unearth gems like Rebecca Marino, and we are here, of course, for her fan base largely. And I did actually get a tweet in the Talking Tennis direction, the old Talking Tennis account, a couple of weeks ago, saying, why is it you seem to have a lot of Ayala content? And I gave a pretty blunt response, or nice response, but clear. Oh, Jean has become a member, it seems, today, or has just renewed their membership. I'm not sure which, one of the two.
I was thinking about that comment, actually, when he started talking. Yeah, it was from John, of course, the Arsenal badge Twitter guy. Who also...
Oh, was it him who asked? Was it him who asked that question?
Yeah, but I think from his second account. And I even texted him when I saw your answer. I was like, that made me laugh that he was asking that. But, I gave him a bit more context. That's in like a couple of weeks, we basically gained 1,000 subscribers based on Ayala alone. So
yeah,
we'd be stupid not to take advantage of that.
And we still, because we pump out so much, it's still, in the low 5% area of all our videos. Even if you just looked at the last 3 weeks, it's still like, if you looked at all our streams and videos, I'm sure it's less than 5%, probably even less than that. But yeah, fair question. And I think I addressed it. And actually, he was very polite. He said, okay, fair enough. Yeah, so there we are. But I get to see a lot of other random players, like I was going to call Fruhvirtova random, but that's probably a bit harsh. But Fruhvirtova, who she beat in Birmingham. She lost in Birmingham last week. But that's probably a bit harsh. But Rebecca
I mean,
Marino is sort of, it's in that ballpark. Although, didn't she win this title last year? So, Iala.
Marino definitely is a player of a history, but like, is she a bit random right now? Maybe, yeah.
Because of her age, she has a history, yeah. But who
Well,
else? I mean,
she was playing on the tour for a long time. Like
Arango was her first round opponent in the French Open. That's sort of a bit random. Also, who did she play?
WTA 500 finalist this year. Guadalajara semis, was it?
But those are random tournaments as well in terms of the people who appear. Dan, by the way, if Dan is not British, then I will eat my hat, because every single comment is something British related. He's been trying to get us to have Sue Barker, if you know who she is, on the show.
Yeah.
And I forget.
I mean, she won a slam. You know how
she did in the late 70s. Yeah, I think it was French Open. There's someone who's not my personal favorite commentator in the UK. I think he just does Wimbledon, and he says, "Oh, you should get him on as well." So him and Sue Barker, and I'm thinking, even if we were big, you know, even if we were Sky or whatever, I think Sue Barker would say, "Listen, just leave me alone. I'm in my retirement now." But
in terms of Jack Draper and Wimbledon, I mean, would it be fair to say he's like the third favorite right now?
Ish, but
yeah,
it's so difficult to place Novak. You know.
Yeah, let's say third, joint third with Novak, but let's remember that it's still a big gap. Sinner Alcaraz, it's not as big as at Roland Garros, but it's still a big gap. So let's say third/fourth favorite along with Novak, I think is what we can say for now. Obviously, he'll have a high ranking by the time he reaches Wimbledon, so he's at least guaranteed not to play Alcaraz or Sinner until the quarters, maybe even the semis, depending on how the draw pans out. So I think that should be more or less his goal. Get to wherever he would meet Sinner or Alcaraz, and then yeah, we'll see there. He obviously failed that at Roland Garros, losing one round before he met Yannick, but it was kind of similar. Just get to wherever he would play Sinner Alcaraz, and then.
Is it not the surface that maybe he'd have the best chance of being competitive against those two?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, he's played Sinner in the US Open last year, but that we now got Jack 2.0, I guess, since then. Or that was the beginning of Jack.
He was not, yeah, even like fit enough to compete with Sinner back then. Or Alcaraz in Australia, you know, after the 3-5 setters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that match. We had our most popular live stream in Talking Tennis history last Sunday.
The final?
Well, it was. Yeah, it wasn't a challenger final.
Well, Alexala, if she was playing.
Yeah. I think I'm not saying we're the most popular, but her round one at Wimbledon, whoever it's against, is going to be pretty big. And if it's against Auger, then yeah, well, then you are talking possible most popular. But of course, it would probably need to go 3. There's all sorts of bits and pieces like that. But
I have not said much about the match in the last 10 minutes, but also there was not that much to say. At 4-5, Felix just holds in like 60 seconds. So they're still tight. Actually, I don't even know if I wanted to say tied or tight, but both work. Very athletic for a young guy, says Sean. Yeah, the arms definitely make him, fine to play sleeveless. Who was it recently that I had a conversation like that with? Someone said that like only some players should be able to play sleeveless, and I think Engel probably can based on his muscles. And also Jake was talking about the smoothness of his backhand, which it's kind of the one thing that probably in Germany makes that Zverev comparison work. But I don't hate it. He's obviously more aggressive off the ground, but when you watch the backhand and how easy on the eye and how easy like kind of it is for him to drive through the shot. Zverev doesn't use it, but Engel does. Zverev is, of course, still in the Stuttgart event as well. He is going to play Brandon Nakashima today, so we know who our friend Vansh Vermani will be rooting for. And other quarterfinal matches in Stuttgart include Shelton facing Lehečka. And what's the fourth? I am kind of... Oh, yeah, Fritz against Fucsovics. So I guess the top 4 seeds are all still in the event.
Shelton.
Lehečka, I already mentioned.
Shelton's got a semi-final at Wimbledon very near, sometime very soon, I think.
I mean, Wimbledon is once a year, so...
I know what I mean. I'm just sort of saying.
How many editions are you talking about?
I know, this year or next. Hey, it reminds me of Pele, who in 1995 said that an African team was going to win the World Cup before the year 2000 or before the 21st century. And someone had to tap him on the shoulder and say, there's only one left, I
don't think any African team was particularly close in 98 either.
No. So 90 was Cameroon quarterfinalists.
Yeah.
Yeah, 98 was, I think, a really European heavy lineup. I'm not sure if they were all Europeans in the court. Oh, well, no, 98, of course, had Brazil, I guess.
Brazil, yeah.
Yeah. There was a reason why I rejoined. Oh, I've managed to fix my childish element to the application on my TV. And the annoying thing is there were 2 options. You could have child, and the other option, which was for adult, or the owner of it, actually says the owner of the account, also had a very childish image. So it looked like child or child. Anyway, that's me done. I'm going to go and talk about a certain Filipino tennis player. Oh, is it Filipino or Filipina, do you think? In English, it probably is Filipino.
What context again?
So if you're a female from the Philippines.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
But I have seen us towards the F spelling for Filipina now in English.
Yes.
In American
yes,
English.
That's definitely way more popular. Filipino in Filipino in English is mostly spelled with F. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to Google that, I think. I would probably go A at the end.
I was also looking for the pronunciation of Risa. That was a random player I was commentating on yesterday. Risa, the Swiss tennis player, ranked about 250.
Valentina Risa. Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it.
But that was not thanks to the WTA website. That was just some Googling and
that's German then, right? I mean, you'd have to check where she comes from, but probably the German part. Although it could be Italian as well.
There could be an Italian part. There's also a Romanish part, at least in terms of language.
Well, but just the language, but there's no Romansh part of Switzerland.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I mean, Italian, Swiss, and Italian, French, and German. Yeah.
4 languages on the note of a Swiss franc note, and the other 4th one is Romanish.
Yeah, but there's definitely no native speaker of Romansh, right? No.
Oh, there are. There's a few thousand. Or at least they speak it. I don't know where. I've never done a test or anything.
I'm just trying to say, it's not like a big group, I don't think, or if they know that, they know other languages too, right?
Nigeria,
I would guess at least. I don't know.
Quarterfinals in 94. Yeah, that's right. Yakini. There's a very famous image of him scoring a big goal in the group stage, and he's shaking the net with delight. But sadly, he passed away a couple of years ago. But yeah, that Nigeria team was very good. There was a few players that came to the Premier League in and around that time. So you had Cameroon in 90, Nigeria in 94. Senegal was the sort of
Senegal 2002, yeah.
Yeah, because they beat France.
Suarez with Ghana, Suarez messed up Ghana in 2010.
I was at that game in Johannesburg. I went to that game, the hand of the devil, they called it. And he's in the. I mean, obviously, I didn't see it in the stadium, but on the TV afterwards, I saw him celebrating in the tunnel when they missed the penalty.
I mean, yeah, he saved them from going down. Well,
I mean,
still, Jan had to miss a penalty.
Yeah, and they still had to lose the subsequent penalty shootout as well.
Yeah.
I think he might have missed, or did he score in the shootout? I'm not
Yes,
sure.
he missed the penalty and scored in the shootout, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Bye.
All right, so we're back at 5-6. There was actually deuce in the previous game, but because Engel just hit like a couple of good saves from there, I wasn't mentioning it much. Am I going to any tennis tournaments? Dan is asking. I am actually going to Poznań on Sunday morning. So yeah, there's a challenger in Poland next week. So that's where I'm headed next. After that, I'm actually still not positive, but definitely there will be some travel plans for me. And yeah, Landaluce on grass so far, I've barely watched him, to be honest, Jake. So I can't really help you out. I know he had 2 matches with Lloyd Harris. One of them he lost, one of them he dominated. Had that match against Bellucci as well. But I need to see more. I just haven't had... His matches weren't the ones I was choosing over the last 2 weeks. I'd just say that. I saw that question from you earlier, by the way, and I was going to answer to that, but I didn't. I forgot. Anyway, yeah, I think he should be fine. Just like if you think about it on paper, he can definitely take the ball early. He's okay at the net. He's aggressive. I don't know. There's been some good signs for Landaluce the last few months after, of course, a dreadful period from the third round of Australian Open qualies to like May or April. So yeah, I think it's great that he beat Lloyd Harris yesterday, but not having watched the match, I don't know, 6-3-6 love, it sounds like a scoreline that tells me that something was wrong with Lloyd. Friend of the show, Lloyd Harris, by the way. And 55 minutes into the opening set, we have a tiebreak. Let's see. Engel will be serving first. And that's kind of the worst start you can get. So a double fault. Is there a worst possible start? Is there a start to a tiebreak that is worse than a double fault? Maybe like missing a seater that is also going to just shake your confidence up completely and you're not going to be able to, hit further aggressive balls with that much. Belief? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the first mini break goes to Felix Auger Aliassime in this somewhat disappointing manner from the perspective of the German and the fans in the stadium. Let's see if he can get it back. Definitely not on the first try with a good body serve from Felix. And I think that's an ace as well. Engel not really reading that because that was not even close to the line. And I think Engel was just so set on this likely being a T-serve from Felix that he didn't even flinch. Wonder if that was some late adjustment from the Canadian, but of course without replays, or even with replays, it would be tough to tell. So love free down. He'll need another stunning comeback effort here, Engel. And without first serves, that might be difficult. Goes back and down the line, but Felix is defending this pretty well. Still in the rally. Extending the point. And eventually getting the error from Engel. So 2 mini breaks now. 4 points to the Canadian. Well, perfect opportunity to claim this first set tiebreak. And especially on this next point, he has a bit of a free hand that's just, letting it loose. Gonna block the first serve return. And now that he's back in the rally, yeah, take the forehand bigger. I think he just missed it, but I don't hate that. Yeah, 4-1 for Felix. But yeah, that was a point that I think warranted something like that. Just a more aggressive approach, all things considered, 4-love, one more serve of Engel. After this point, obviously, we're going to have a change of ends. Yeah, but still not doing anything on return here, Engel. Just a strong serve from Felix. Can't block it in. So 5-1. The dominant lead for Auger Aliassime is now moving closer to the end of the tiebreak, just 2 points away. Would need to be a pretty heroic effort from the 17-year-old to stay in the set. Of course, in many ways, he's already done, his work for the week. But it's always, the goals, the dreams you're going to have, obviously, they go up with every single round. You're starting to think, oh, maybe one more. And he's competitive in this match. He's definitely not getting wildly outplayed, although I would say that Felix has been the better player over the course of the set. Trading forehands from the middle of the court. Engel switches it up a little. That backhand is barely going to go in. Now it's Felix taking over because of that weaker shot. And he's spreading the court pretty well, but can't quite get this done. It's a good slice from him as well. Made Engel pretty uncomfortable, but the rally keeps going. And it's eventually Engel who's going to try to bail out of it with a forehand down the line. That was a very low margin attempt. 6-1 Auger Aliassime, 5 set points in a row. Surely he's not blowing this. Of course, the first 2 points will come on the Germans' serve. The backhand down the line just never fails for Engel. Lovely strike on the first set point save. But he's going to need a lot more of where that came from. That's a decent serve as well. 6-3. Felix Auger Aliassime. Now the opportunities that are actually important are coming for Felix, the ones on his delivery. Still 3 set points up. Should be feeling confident about the possibility of taking this set to the end. Let's see. Sorry. Engel tries to run around his second serve return, but Felix catches him off guard, hitting a very deep second serve into the backhand corner, so there was not enough time for the 17-year-old to do it. And after an hour and about 3 minutes, I think Felix Auger Aliassime takes the first set 1-0. Sorry, 7-6 to 7-3 in the tiebreak. The stats for this match, for some reason, are not working at all on the broadcast. Every single thing is a 0-0. Maybe we'll talk about some of them in a moment from another website. We will see. Yeah, Lukas Podolski plays in Poland right now, in Górnik Zabrze. He has done that for a while. Some say he came back to Poland, but he actually never played there. But yeah, he's been playing in Poland for a while. Both of them come from Śląsk, or Silesia in English, which is like a region in southwestern Poland with a lot of historical importance and kind of dilemmas in terms of whether it should be autonomous or it should be German or Polish. There's a lot of like coal mines there, stuff like that. Mark Fokanu, yeah, what a legend. 7-6, 7-3 in the breaker. Let me look for some stats indeed, and we'll see if they are going to be if they're going to tell us anything. Obviously, the package, I think, for this event is pretty basic with the stats. But anyway, we'll see if we can find something there. Indeed, it's good experience for Engel. Gene is obviously right about that. It's really nothing wrong for him to lose this match. But he's not out of it yet. He just lost the tiebreak. I think over the course of the set, Felix was the better player. But of course, it wasn't anything crazy. So yeah, it was 7-6, 7-3, 7 aces for Felix, 5 for the German. A little bit of an easier time holding for sure, Felix. 8 out of 12 on the second serve. He's also getting a lot of first serves in compared to Engel. I think that was also somewhat crucial in some key spots. Yeah, not much more we can really get out of this. 9 winners, 19 unforced errors for Engel, 15-13 for Felix. A much healthier rate, that's for sure. Soon enough, we should have them playing. And in fact, Felix is preparing to serve in the second set right now. What I also wanted to do in the meantime is also tell you how the first Hellbrunn quarterfinals... Hellbrunn, of course, is a German challenger in clay. Hertogenbosch quarterfinal was going. And actually, Hugo Humbert already has 2 match points over Nuno Borges. Has anyone watched Humbert, by the way, this week? Is he already fine with the hand injury or arm injury that he had that was not allowing him to hit through his backhand? I think I looked yesterday and he had like 10 or 15 backhand winners in the match. So I'm assuming it's fine. And, he's also performing very well as he is about to close out Nuno Borges in a 6-1-6 for the win. The next quarterfinal in Hertogenbosch on the schedule is going to be Diallo, Khachanov, I think. Or actually, although they have 2 chords there, right? But I think Diallo Khachanov is after Borges Humbert. And then probably you will have to wait a bit more for Medvedev, Opelka, and Bergs Layal. Whereas in Stuttgart, obviously, it's just a men's event. So it's all pretty much, just 4 matches in a row today. Engel, Auger, Aliassime, Vujovic, Fritz, Zverev, Nakashima, and then Shelton, Lehechka. There might be a bit of a break depending on how quick the matches are between Vujovic, Fritz, and Zverev, Nakashima. But again, it just really depends on how quick the matches are. Felix off to a comfortable start in the second set as well. He's definitely been serving very well today, both in terms of landing the first serve, but also the placement, mixing it up a little bit. You can see many occasions where Engel is just not reading the direction of Felix's serve. And serving first in the second set after winning the breaker, should be a good advantage for Felix. First set, obviously, it was Engel serving first. He actually got broken at 2-all, and it seemed like maybe from there Felix will run away with things, but he got pushed back right away with some great shots from Engel. Let's see if he can avoid a similar fate here. Defending here, Engel is going to throw in the drop shot, but oh wow. It was not good enough, but so was Felix's lob. And Engel just completely messes up the overhead volley. Yeah, I mean, definitely should have put that away. I don't think it was that high, at least from this position, you know, from the TV angle, it seemed like it's perfectly gettable. Well, getting broken right away, that would be kind of the nightmare start, or the nightmare version of this set for Engel. And it looks like he might be in trouble. It's a good point from Felix. Solid return, and then when he sees an opportunity to crack the forehand, he takes it instantly. So he's 30 love up now. That first miss in this game from Engel, that might prove very costly. Felix trying to execute this very aggressive forehand combination, but the inside in keel is going to be in the fence. Not in defense, but in the fence, in the back fence. Has Felix ever played Kohlschreiber, or did they like not have enough time to clash? I don't actually know. I'm gonna check that. I think Kohlschreiber's retirement was like 21 or 22. I remember he was playing Wimbledon qualies, and there was that that stream on YouTube, and basically that's where he announced it, I think. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they ever played. Good responses from Engel here. From rough 30, definitely could have just started playing a bit more tight, but not at the moment. And that overhead as well, he kind of like puts that into the back of his mind, you know, just forgets about it while hitting the next one here. A slightly more, you know, regular version of the shot, but still. But once more, I think he's a little bit too desperate to find the running forehand there, or like the runaround forehand. Is there really any need for that? I'm not sure. And Felix is just finding that deep backhand corner for him, not allowing him to make these plays. Ace down the tee, that will help. So he secures a second game point. And he does get out of this. Once more, when you think that Engel, well, that he might kind of like collapse in this match, and maybe not collapse, but you know, he might at some point just give Felix a bit of a lead and allow him to run away with it. Once more, he is not willing to do that at all. It's been a solid effort on that front for sure. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Yeah, the problem for Engel seems to be that like whenever he has a bit of a spike and you know he's got that positive boost like that previous game, wins the first point here with a good return, Felix just like shuts him down. An ace right now. Now he's probably gonna hit another. Yeah, exactly. Back to back. Just doesn't really give him that time to, I don't know, like mount up something. Yeah, this is a perfect representation of this because Engel landed a very important hold, right? And goes down love 15, and you're thinking, okay, yeah, this is sorry, goes up love 15 here, and you're thinking maybe this is the moment when he strikes, and Felix just sends 3 serves in a row that are just not returnable. Now he throws in a double fault, but you know, it's still 40-30 for him, so. He's in the point, going to attack Felix's backhand corner, and does that well. So despite the serve botting, this is actually a game where Engel is winning all the baseline rallies thus far. Well, all maybe sounds like there were like 5 of them. There were actually just 2 of them. One, of course, being a double fault from Felix, the other point he won. And again, he just shuts him down, ace down the tee, you know? Whenever Engel smells blood, you know, at least a tiny bit, Felix just like shuts the door in front of his face. He's doing the Lord of the Rings, you know, you shall not pass. And so far, he is indeed succeeding in this strategy. Especially as that's another massive serve. So 2-1 Felix. This could have been a difficult game, but 3 aces plus 2 unreturned serves, and the Canadian survives. Auger, in the meantime, defeated Nuno Borges in Hertogenbosch. No play in Queen's Club yet, but we have Hertogenbosch on the women's side as well, where Kudermetova and Alexandrova seem to be going to the third set, most probably. Hello, Edgardo. Thank you for the membership. We appreciate it. %73% of Felix's serve going unreturned. Wow. I don't know where you saw that stat, Jake, but makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how he's been winning this match. Yeah, and this previous game was such a good example. Kudermetova Alexandrova, I said that it's a grass court classic. Yeah, kind of is. 2022 Hertogenbosch, 2023 Hertogenbosch. And they were also supposed to play in 2023 in Berlin, but then Kudermetova pulled out. So actually, Alexandrova has won both their previous matches. Now Kudermetova is up a set, but 1-4 down in the second. So it's kind of like Medvedev Manarino, indeed, where obviously Daniil and Adrian, they met for the 4th time at this event, which is a record, by the way, in tournament history. No other pair has seen each other so many times. Okay. That's nice that they are getting some stats there for the broadcast. I just checked, by the way, 0.5% of population in Switzerland is a native speaker of Romansh. If anyone was interested in the conversation that we had with John earlier. I don't know if I was, but yeah, there's like a small community somewhere, basically. I think Felix just misses that long, yeah. The longer exchanges, that this set especially, feels like they're all going into Engel's hands. Obviously, last game, 6 points didn't even go. Weren't extended like ahead of or like above of the serve. It was just literally Felix hitting 5 unreturned serves and 1 double fault, and Engel was winning all the rallies. And so far, that holds true here. Wasn't necessarily like that in the first set, especially not in the breaker. But he does have a very clean baseline game. Felix comes and goes a little bit, especially on the backhand corner. Forehand, when he's trying to like step into it here and take it earlier, also tends to be a bit wild. But probably still we had a lot more of just like, aggressive baseline shot errors from Engel in the first set. At the moment, he is keeping it a bit more clean. 40 love up here, trying to get to 2-all. He's also going to throw in a double fault, but at 40 love, of course, it's perfectly acceptable to do it. Shit. Felix surprises the German youngster with his return taken off a very high bounce backhand inside in, you can even say, into the Engel backhand corner. No ability to slice the ball back there from the 17-year-old. Can he close this out before it gets any further troublesome? Yeah, ace down the tee. So he kind of did to Felix what Felix has been doing to him the entire match here, Whenever he catches a little bit of fire, just hit that ace and forget about it. Anyway, 2 games all. Felix is going to change his racket now. He didn't do that at the ball change for some reason. I'm actually going to do that to serve here. Most players tend to do it for the return, I think. Well, new racket or not, hitting aces left and right definitely isn't new for him here. In fact, sometimes, well, actually in tennis, it's tough to hit aces left, right, and center. That's another ace. That's now 5 over the last 2 games. Genuinely surprised he missed his first serve. He collapses onto the floor in shock and disbelief. Of course not. he is just gonna hit a second serve. Engel has to be so precise here. Just basically win every single point. He even has a chance to get his racket onto the ball. Well, but even on second serve, Felix goes for a very aggressive placement of the second serve down the tee with a bit of slice too. And Engel gets his racket on it, but he still won't return it into the court. So that's just serve botting from Felix here over the last 2 service games. And it's really helping him keep the pressure high on the youngster. Might crack soon, we'll see. So far hasn't. Well, he does lose this very quick forehand exchange angle, so it's 3-2. Felix Auger Aliassime, another hold that the Canadian basically sprints to. I don't see an obvious weakness from backhand to forehand. You mean Engel? Yeah, I don't think he has one. Backhand stands out a bit more, but really nice ground game, especially in these conditions. You know, the grass in Stuttgart, it is kind of old schoolish, I'd say. And it's not that easy to control the ball. So he's still doing that in conditions like that, which is impressive. Ala defeated Marino 6-1 in the opening set. Okay. Well, with some luck, or rather with another one like that, this match might be over even faster than this one. Golubic is playing pari there as well in Ilkley. Golubic, of course, a former Wimbledon quarter finalist. Ivajovic is in there. Two Swiss players in the quarterfinals, along with Celine Neff. To be honest with you, I'm kind of starting to hope for a 2-set finish. I'm not feeling too well, but we'll see. I went for a run just before the stream. Maybe I made an error by not giving myself enough time to like eat something. I only ate like a piece of watermelon, but it might just be migraine as well. In the first 15-20 minutes of the stream, I was seeing stuff like, I had these pre-migraine visual sensations, and now I've actually taken a pill, so maybe it will be better in a few minutes. Is that in? I think it might have touched the back of the line from Engel. Yeah, very flat forehand down the middle. You could see the ball was, well, it wasn't spinning, and in a crazy way in terms of the topspin, because it was a flat shot, but the trajectory was still kind of unusual, and Felix didn't handle that. So far, Engel is responding again with 30 love. Goes for the body. Not enough time for the Canadian to move out of the way. And it should be another rapid hold. Well, a match like this, to be honest, this one has not been that entertaining. Like, if some people think the grass is, just doesn't promote enough exciting play, I'd kind of get it with this match. I think it's way better if players are just like, I don't know, using the net as a tool, using the slice more effectively than these two are. Also offensively, it's not only the defensive shot on grass. Obviously, this is a bit of a botting contest as well, especially from Felix's side. So I feel like there just aren't that many patterns of play, you know. Good angle on the inside out kill from Engel. And it's 3 games all. But yeah, this was still mostly set up by the serve. Just needed to hit a couple of forehands later to seal the deal. The first few games weren't quite like that, but after that, this match has very much been just like, you know, quick hold. Now the ball is in your court, opponent, and do whatever you can with that. Felix just kicks off the game with an ace as well. Sometimes Engel is not reading his serve well. I think here, even if you read this, I mean, there's really not much you can do. Maybe if you just blindly guessed, you would be able to get the racket on the ball, but it was perfectly on the line down the tee. Now he finds the body of Engel on the second serve. Feels like Felix has been also going pretty fast on second serve and just like, yeah, not giving the youngster any possible options to look for anything here. Once more, ace down the tee. I mean, what Felix is doing in the second set is just pure serve botting. I think it's 7 aces in the last 3 games for him, which is actually what he had in the entire first set. From a commentator's standpoint, it's kind of tough to say much because this entire game, Felix just does not lose a point on serve. That's one thing, but also he does not have to play a single shot, but he served. It's 2 aces and 2 unreturned serves. And again, he's just gonna keep rushing through his games and hope that Engel at some point makes an error, which I guess he's more likely to. Especially that now that he's like down on the scoreboard and his lack of experience maybe shows up at some point. But yeah, it makes this match kind of not have any particular patterns that we could talk about other than Felix just hitting some monster serves left and right. Kudermetova, Alexandrova. Actually, Kudermetova has pulled it back from 1-4 in the second set. Saved the low 40 at 3-4 as well. So now she has some opportunity to maybe close it out in 2. I mean, she hadn't beaten Alexandrova on grass, but surely she beat her somewhere, right? Yeah, she beat her 3 times. Just twice in 2019, but also once this year in Dubai. So it wouldn't be like anything groundbreaking, but still a good win. Snahil, yeah, I mean he just has a very clean ground game. Back and down the line especially is very impressive. In terms of playstyle, I think he's still figuring things out. Like this time last year in the summer when he was playing German challengers, he was more of a consistent player. But I think as time has gone on, like you can see that he is definitely trending more towards an aggressive game, yeah. Just kind of still trying to figure out the balance and not just fall into like streaks of errors, but yeah, I think over the last year his game has evolved into a more aggressive play style. In terms of movement, I don't know. I mean, he's fine. I wouldn't say his movement is a liability. It's okay. Like, it's not the first thing that you're gonna think of, but it's definitely okay and can get a lot better too. He's pretty complete, right? It's just kind of like what he chooses to do on the court more than what his game is forcing him to. There are players who just have, well, limitations, or just have few tools that you kind of need to play a certain play style then, because otherwise you're just not going to be able to hold off like other, the opponents. Well, the most obvious thing, of course, would be like massive servers, or I don't know, like Ivo Karlovic, right? He's just forced to play serve and volley. There's no other option. Otherwise, he's just going to lose every single match. Whereas with Engel, I guess it's more about what he wants to do on the court. So I think his playstyle can still be amended and be like plastic, if you know what I mean. Depending on the opponent, I think he can definitely adjust that. But yeah, it seems like his mindset is more aggressive than maybe we thought last year. Anyway, goes for the backhand down the line here, a little out of position. It's gonna be slightly long, and it's 30-all. So now we have a potentially tricky situation. And especially now, oh no, that second serve is in. Okay, never mind then. That was a lead cord, and then I thought maybe it's a double fault, but apparently that landed on the baseline. Anyway, still a pressure moment. And the point has started, and Engel just makes a very random backhand error. I'm not really sure what he was trying to do there. Anyway, this is a breakpoint that could even end the match. This would give Felix such a massive advantage. And again, the first serve is not found. Very deep return from Felix. He has the opportunity to crack a couple of forehands here, and he does outplay Engel in the end. Great angles. So 7-6, 5-3, and Felix Auger-Aliassime will serve for the match. Engel trying to return the second serve aggressively. Felix kinda catches him off guard again with this kicker at the body of the second serve. So just 3 points away now. Another rally, so this is what Engel wants right now, but he's not really gonna win this, is he? Yeah, again, nice angle on the forehand side, forces Engel to go for a risky shot, and that's gonna be long. So just 2 points away from for Felix Auger-Aliassime right now. Considering the last few games, I mean, he kind of has to hit an ace over the next 2 points, right? Obviously, and he hits an ace down the tee. So 3 match points for Felix Auger Aliassime. And you know how it ends? With an ace as well. I mean, that was some obscene serving in the second set. How many aces did Felix hit in that second serve alone? I mean, that must be like 9 or 10. Let me check that quickly before we, wrap up this match. 18 aces in this match and 11 in 5 games in the second set. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say, right? This match was mostly close for the first hour or so. Felix did feel like he had a bit of a lead. He got that early break at 2-all, gets pegged back by Engel, and that was like the moment when he really, had a one opportunity to shine, really, Engel. But after that, I mean, Felix was just serving insanely well. 18 aces in the entire match. That's already very good. 11 games plus the tiebreak, but especially the second set, 11 aces across 5 service games. It feels like anytime Engel caught some fire, Felix just like extinguished it so quickly. An ace or two comes in, and then there's just nothing that Justin can do. I think in the second set as well, there were just a few games that they just didn't feature any rally on the Canadian serve. Or if they featured it, Engel won it, but it doesn't matter because 4 other serves were unreturned. I think Jake mentioned in the chat earlier that there were 73% unreturned serves for Felix, and that was 24 minutes ago. So I think after the second set, this must have risen. This must have risen to 80-ish. And that's kind of the story of the match, He just couldn't compete with Felix's serve, which is somewhat unusual. Like, Felix does not serve like this most of the time, right? 18 aces in 11 games plus the breaker. He's got a good serve, but I don't think he is as spectacular on his delivery as he was in the second set, typically. Second set, he only lost 3 points on serve, and one of these was a double fault. So, yeah, still a great run for Engel, 17-year-old, to make a quarterfinal here, to also debut in the top 250, to have a shot at making US Open qualifying, which now he will have. It's amazing. But is there any other language that you are passionate about and would like to learn it? I've had some French and Spanish classes. Spanish I used to speak, but now I can only really read it. If I was going to learn a language right now, it would probably either coming back to one of these two, or I would like to learn Portuguese. I don't know if there's another one. Probably not. I know I also used to learn Russian in school for half a year, but I don't know anything. I only can read the alphabet, but it also takes me some time. So yeah, I would probably return to Spanish or learn Portuguese. That's my answer. Yeah, Snahi, I agree. It's not one of his strengths, totally. When Prizmic played versus Novak at Australian Open, he looked very promising. Do you think he has what it takes to be one of the best and challenge for the slams in the future? I don't know if challenge for the slams, but I do think Dino will be a late bloomer. That with physical development, with the development of his weapons as well, I think he's got a good chance to be a late bloomer who kind of, I don't know, has a similar ceiling to Borna Choric, maybe. I don't know if challenge for the slams. But yeah, I do think Dino will develop just on his own time, especially when the injuries are away from him. It would be amazing if Bratislava this week worked out for him, right? I mean, he's on a 7-match win streak. He's going to play Enrique Rocha today. So far, he's been very good, very confident. Hopefully, he's just going to get that. But yeah, I think when he played Novak, he was perfect for that particular matchup because he was so... the tenacity, the resilience, it was so important there. Novak was also under the weather with some illness, and kind of Dino really backed himself in the longer rallies against Novak. Back then, it was not a level or not a play style that works on the main tour right now. But with some adjustments that he's been trying to pull off, with hopefully less injuries, fewer injuries than last year, hopefully he can do that kind of like late development thing. Obviously, yes, I will end the stream, the producer. Novak at the time said he would love to be in his box. The hype was big at the time. Yeah, absolutely, because this kind of felt like that Spider-Man battle, right? Dino just backed himself in playing Novak's game. He went out there and he was like, yeah, Novak, I can play this with you, no doubt. There's no problem. I'm going to try to play you like you play other players and just kind of, try to execute that style better. And on the day, it was great. And if most players on the tour were like Novak, Dino would probably be holding up pretty well against them. But he still needs just to beat the other guys as well, to get through the lower ranked tournaments, to have the weapons to kind of make it easier for himself, not have to go through the grind every single time. But he's doing that. He's trying to improve. The health seems to be better right now. Hopefully his run in Bratislava this week is going to be even better than it already is. With this, we will end the stream. Stuttgart first quarterfinal goes to Felix, Auger, Aliassime. Definitely the deserved winner. Amazing serving, absolutely incredible serving day. And that's kind of mostly how he beat Justin Engel. Great performance from the German youngster overall, beating Duckworth and Mikkelsen, making a quarterfinal as young as he was. But this was one step too many. Felix, after losing 6 matches in a row on grass between Halle 2022 and this event, he is in the semis and he's looking pretty strong. So hopefully this will be a better season for him on grass, especially, of course, Wimbledon is kind of like the main event coming up where hopefully he just avoids losing to Kokinakis or Mo again and could get some points there. Anyway, we have a stream right now from Ala Marino, which I think more people are watching than this one probably. And also later we will have a stream from Zhenk Raducanu. From me for today, that's it. Thank you guys. It was cool as usual to talk to you about this match and just see how the run of Engel would end. And see you some other day. I actually don't know if I'm gonna be on the channel frequently soon because I'm going to Poznan on Sunday. So probably for about a week I will not have any time to jump on. But I think especially at Wimbledon I will probably be very active. So just see you there. Thank you for every comment in the chat, and talk tennis. Let's keep doing that. Actually, I'm gonna play you that John Silk outro, and then you can switch right away to Eala against Marino, and also watch John Silk because he's doing that much.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.